Good evening, and thank you for joining me this Wednesday remotely from my home in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. While we can't be in the studio currently, TV2 is still dedicated to bringing you today's top headlines. Welcome to TV2 Online. If you saw campus ablaze this morning, don't be alarmed, okay? This fire was actually set on purpose. The annual Kent State Prairie Burn event took place at 10 a.m. this morning. Our reporter Alexandria Manthe spoke with the grounds crew manager to see what that fire was all about.
The annual Prairie Burn event outside of Kent State's Recreation and Wellness Center happened this morning. Usually a fire this large could be dangerous. However, grounds manager Rebecca Berryhill says it's actually vital for the prairie ecosystem.
Before people sort of invaded the space, there would be a lot of electrical storms, and they would actually spark fires and totally take down the native lands, whether it's in the woodland or the prairie grass area. And they would start afresh.
Fires are essential to burn the dead plants to make room for new growth. They used to happen naturally, but now they are set and controlled by the Kent Fire Department.
Give them huge props. They did awesome. The winds were crazy, and it was a fantastic fire.
Berryhill said when she first saw the fires in years past, she was worried about the animals, but it's natural for them to know when to flee.
Anything that prefers to live in this that ecosystem actually burrows down enough, and they're geared for this. Like, they're set for this fire to come through. And if they are an animal like a frog or a snake, they can typically sense that fire is coming along.
New wildlife growth after the fire is expected in the coming weeks. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Alexandria Manthe.
Kent State's May 4th Memorial is right around the corner, and this year, it's 51st commemoration of the shooting in 1970. A virtual event will be hosted by the Kent State throughout the week of April 30th to May 4th. It will feature guest speakers, including a Nobel Peace Prize winner and a presentation from student leaders of the May 4th Task Force. For a full list of events for the May 4th commemoration, please visit their website. A Kent woman is being investigated for the death of her cat and dog. This is a sad story now. The woman reportedly strangled the animals and then proceeded to set them on fire at her home on April 17th. The officers were only able to find remains of at least one of the animals in a campfire next door. The 25-year-old is charged with 2 counts of first-degree misdemeanor cruelty to animals, and a warrant has been issued for her arrest. Ohio has lost a congressional seat in the 2022 year due to the 2020 census results. Our reporter Gianna DaPra has more on what that will mean.
As a result of the 2020 census population counts, Ohio will lose 1 congressional seat or 1 House district next year. That means conversations will soon begin about how to determine these new congressional boundaries.
States have, historically use that to gerrymander, to essentially draw districts that favor their political party. And they're very astute at it. And I think technology has really created a tool to make that almost an exact science.
And Castle says Ohio's party makeup is a function of how these districts are drawn.
The amount of representation, particularly in urban areas like Cleveland and in Columbus, are really disadvantaged compared to rural areas. Urban residents have a lot less representation than rural residents do, and suburban residents in Ohio as a result of that kind of gerrymandering.
Ohio is a Republican governor and a majority of Republicans in the House, which could influence the seat that's lost.
There's a good chance that the seat that will be lost will be a seat that a Democrat currently holds. Even as Republicans in those states might want to create super safe Republican districts, it might be harder given the demographic of the population that's moving to those states.
Experts say Ohio is unlikely to meet its constitutional deadlines for redistricting, stirring up controversy regarding when the map will be decided. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Gianna DaPra.
After President Joe Biden's first 100 days in office, he is pitching a $1.8 trillion investment in children, families, and education, allegedly transforming the role government plays in American lives. He will use his first joint address to make his announcement tonight, laying out the proposal on air. The proposal will include universal preschool, 2 years of free community college, $225 billion for childcare, and monthly payments of at least $250 per parent. His speech will also talk about his handling of the COVID-19 crisis. India is facing more COVID troubles as the days go on. The world's worst outbreak in India has caused the cases to rise over 350,000 cases within the past 10 days. Hospitals lost basic needs, including ICU beds and oxygen shortages. The government is struggling to find a solution, and it has not even reached its peak in COVID cases yet. And the federal investigation following Rudolph Giuliani has issued search warrants at his home early this morning. Giuliani, former New York mayor and President Trump's personal lawyer, is involved in a criminal investigation of his dealings with Ukraine and breaking lobbying laws. The investigators have confiscated his electrical devices and had searched his apartment in Manhattan. According to the New York Times, this search warrant has been months in the making.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
That's all the news I have for now. I'm going to send it over to our sports reporter, Mackenzie Flume, to see what's going on in the sports world today. Mackenzie?
Hello, Orange County. I'm Mackenzie Flume here with all of your sports news. Now, we have a lot of things happening around us this week in sports, so let's get right into it. The Kent State women's softball team is in Buffalo, New York today as they take on the Bulls. The Flashes are coming off a series win in Bowling Green, winning 3 out of 4 games played. The Flashes are sitting third in the MAC and were on an 11-game winning streak until last Tuesday when the Flashes faced the Bulls at home and were defeated by a pair of solo home runs for the Bulls win 2-1. Senior Kenna Goff and junior Brooklyn Witt bats are leading the Flashes, and freshman pitcher Jessica LeBeau earned MAC Pitcher of the Week once again. The Flashes doubleheader was scheduled for 1 p.m. and the second game to follow today. Kent State's own Josh Cribb was honored at the Lunch with a Legend hosted by the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission before the 2021 NFL Draft taking place in downtown Cleveland. The event was held and hosted by WKYC's Jay Crawford and featured Cribbs talking about his college and professional career. Cribbs represented Kent State in the NFL in Cleveland, Oakland, New York, and Indianapolis. If you're going to the draft this weekend, keep an eye out for our fellow Flash. And speaking of the NFL Draft, hello, what an amazing event being held in our neck of the woods. The 2021 NFL Draft starts tomorrow in downtown Cleveland. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to receive that first-round pick, and it is no secret who is projected to go first. Former Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Ohio State's quarterback Justin Fields is also expected to go in the first round, but of course, there's always those shocking picks that nobody expected, so make sure to stay up to date on those. You can go to NFL.com to stay updated and even vote on your draft picks. And that's all I have for Sports Day, Portage County. Follow us on Twitter at TV2 KSU Sports. I'm Mackenzie Flume signing off for TV2 Sports.
Thanks, Mackenzie. And that will about wrap up this Monday evening's edition of TV2 Online. For the latest breaking headlines, you can check us out on social media at Kent Wired. TV2 will bring you an all-new TV2 Online tomorrow at 6:30. Signing off for the last time this semester, I'm Gianna DaPra. Have a great night.